Morning. It is the start of another week again. I cannot believe how fast these weeks are going. Summer is nearly over. It's not very nice out there this morning again, but I thought we need to sort of do a fitness fragrance review on a couple of other summer fragrances that I've got just to kind of round off the summer essentially. And it's these two here. You may have seen one of them in my video yesterday, but it's two Zara fragrances and they're Vibrant Leather, Bogoss Vibrant Leather. This is just the original Bogoss Vibrant Leather, and this is Bogoss Vibrant Leather Summer. And you can get them in a gift pack, which you'll see later on in terms of pricing and everything. But yeah, they are essentially pineapple bombs. They smell quite similar, to be honest with you. I just wanted to give them a little bit of a review today to give my thoughts. They get very good reviews on Fragrantica, by the way. Very, very good reviews. Over 4, I think it's like 4.3 and 4.4. So yeah, I want to give my opinion. And again, what I'll do, if you haven't seen these before, I'll rank them on 5 categories. So price or value for money, versatility, sort of projection or performance, compliment factor, and then how long they last, so their longevity. And I'll do a shower test. I'll take them to the gym, so I'll do a couple of those categories on my run this morning, then I'll walk to the gym, do my workout before I give my overall thoughts. And yeah, they are quite similar, as I mentioned, so scores probably will be quite similar, but if there's any differences that I can recommend, I will do. And I will just mention those little differences now, so I'm just going to quickly show you the note breakdown for both of them. Quite a basic note breakdown that you're given there, and I think they smell quite similar anyway. What I would say, looking at the fragrances, you can probably kind of tell from the bottle colorations as well. This is just your lighter, fresher version, and this has got more ozonic notes. I think it's got a bit of watermelon in, so this is just that kind of slightly lighter, maybe slightly less ripe pineapple, and this is your really juicy, really yellow-looking one that you've cut into. So yeah, that is really the main difference. If you like something just that slightly more fresher, that's that one. And that one's just that little bit heavier. This one's more fruit heavy. This one is fruit heavy, but it's just got a slight aquatic, watery tinge to it. So yeah, that's really the only difference. I think if you've never smelled these before and you got someone to sort of smell them side by side, you do pretty well to notice really any significant difference. But once you've worn them after a couple of days, you probably would notice that slight freshness that you get with this one. So yeah, that's really the main difference. But leather accord, I don't really get it at all. If you're worried about leather, don't worry about that with this, because these are not leather. They're not that heavy, strong leather scent at all. This is very much sweet overload, fruity, fresh. And yeah, as the name kind of says, for this one anyway, summer. And it is really that sort of slightly cooler summer day, I would say, rather than that high heat one. But yeah, that's just my opinion on it anyway. Right, it's time to go out for a run. We'll do the first 2 categories. So we're going to do price, value for money, and versatility. How versatile are these 2 fragrances? Just want to mention, sprays on these are both very good. Spray really well. They do come with a cap as well, but yeah, they're just basic plastic ones, so nothing too much to chat about. I like the fact they're kind of the same in terms of their bottle design, but yeah, that don't matter for me. It's all about how it smells and how it performs, and we'll find out this morning. Not feeling it today. You can hear that wind. It's quite strong. Anyway, price, value for money. So you would have seen on Zara, you can buy the fragrances individually for around £23, or, which what I did, you can get a gift set for about 30. That hasn't changed. That's what I paid about a year ago. So if you like fruity scents, fruity summer scents, you're looking for that, I think that's about right. £23 for 100ml. I think it'll do exactly the job you want. Very playful. I actually think the original Bogoss Vibrant Leather can work in the winter as well, with those slightly more cedar base notes and stuff. It's got slight woodiness in the background, just that little bit heavier, so I think it could cut through the cold if you like something fruity in the winter time rather than those darker sort of scents. If you're someone though just wants a plain citrus, I don't know if that is great value for money. I really like Davidoff Cool Water, and obviously they do sort of clean summer scents as well, and climate perfume as well. And personally, I think they're just as good. And sometimes you get them in 125ml bottles, and I just think I'd rather pack it. I've had the choice out of the 2. That's just my opinion, because I'm not too worried about something fruity. I'd rather something more fresh, aquatic, citrusy. And in that case, I'd probably say it's not good value for money.
That being said, the gift sets, which you can get for $40 in America, so again, you can get them in both countries. They're quite readily available. I think £15 for a Zara fragrance on average for 100ml essentially, 2 for £30. That's great. My only gripe with it, and I mentioned this earlier, they are quite similar in terms of smell. And I think some people would find it makes one of them redundant. So if you really like these scents, great, go for it. Go and get the twin pack, because essentially you're getting 2 of the same fragrance for one, in my opinion. And, you know, it is good value for money. If you know that scent profile, you're paying well. But I think it does. I think one makes the other a bit redundant, in my opinion, anyway. They're very similar. So for that reason, just because I think they're about what you'd expect to pay if you like that scent, but they are synthetic, 7 out of 10. I think that's fair, because that gift set is a good price, and I certainly wouldn't rule out getting that again, but it's not one I'd rush to get either. Anyway, on to versatility. Okay, so versatility. Can you dress this up? Can you wear it in sort of cooler weathers, older, younger people? Where's it most suitable, essentially? Is it unisex? Well, it's marketed to men, first of all, but I think most sort of feminine fragrances tend to be more fruity than the male ones, and you could definitely pull this off with a woman. It's very tropical, very sweet, very playful, and I could imagine sort of a young woman, sort of early 20s, even late teenage years, pulling this off, and it certainly wouldn't feel strange to me. I think Zara are missing a bit of a trick there. So I actually think it is quite unisex. That's one thing I would definitely give it. And I think cleaner scents, summer scents tend to be a little bit more that way anyway. This isn't one for an older person. I think, to be honest with you, anyone under 40 might like it. I think when you get over 40, you're not going to appreciate this. It's too youthful, it's too playful. You know, when you think of fragrances like Packer Around 1 million, it's not the same as that at all. But it's got that sort of feeling of you'll outgrow it at some point. I couldn't imagine my dad wearing it. It's quite, what I'd say, it's quite rough around the edges. It's not, you know, it's not really crisp. It's very, quite cloying. So again, if you're in an office environment where it is quite a small room, I think it might be a bit too much. You wouldn't wear this to bed or anything like that. It's not that sort of summer scent. That being said, where it is that bit more fruity, and again, it's got notes like cedar in it, and maybe the leather accord as well, I think you could wear these in the winter if you really like that scent. So in that way, it could be a signature scent, but I think, you know, it's much more one of those playful, juvenile scents you'll wear on a summer's day outside. If you're going out with your mates, maybe to have a walk along the beach, a cycle, play a bit of football, whatever, even the gym, as long as you don't overspray it, it will do those jobs. So it's more that sort of fragrance, and maybe that's why it's lasted quite well, in terms of the fact that Bogoss 5 is still on there since 2021, when we know a lot of these shop fragrances tend to get discontinued after a year or two. Says it's quite popular, so maybe they are just marketing it at that right crowd. So yes, it's just, for me, it's just very much a casual, playful scent, and certainly targeted towards younger people. It's not a suit and tie, it's not a James Bond type fragrance. So I'm going to give versatility, because I think actually their marketing says down, in fact I think it could be unisex, I'll give it a 7.5. So 7.5 for versatility. It's not bad, and I do think it can work in the winter as well. So yeah, that's a fair score. Right, let's get this rundown. Can't wait.
So run down 18,000 steps. What I'm going to do, I'm going to spray 2 different rooms. I'm going to spray my room with the stronger scent to start with, so just the original Bogoss Vibrant Leather. We'll do 12. So we'll do 12 of that, and then what I'm going to do, you're going to come with me, I'm going to spray in my parents' room, because it's a similar size room, and this is going to be the Bogoss Vibrant Leather Summer. So we'll see how long they last. Again, I'll go down for a cup of tea, give it 10 minutes essentially, and then we'll just see if they're lasting. And yeah, I'll talk about how much I could smell the fragrance during my run. Did I smell it at all? Because it was quite windy, and sometimes I find with the wind it tends to project more. So yeah, what I'll do, I'll go down, make myself a cup of tea, and I'll give you my thoughts on projection so far. Lemon and ginger teas. It's all very citrus summery at the moment today, isn't it? So could I smell the fragrance during my run? Well, to be honest, normally I can smell it once I've finished a run and I do my stretching. I couldn't today. It kind of ties into what people have said about projection with this fragrance. I kind of consider it like a bit of a cliff fragrance. Now, I say this, it's like a cliff fragrance. What does that mean? I've just kind of made it up. But there's certain scents where you spray them and the initial sort of blast is super strong, but then it literally just drops off. It goes from really strong to nothing, rather than like a hill fragrance where it kind of smells quite strong to start with and then it just gradually dips through the days. This is one of those phrases, like a cliffhanger phrase. It's like you literally go to the edge of a cliff, smells really strong at the top, and then it just drops. I did notice it during my run. I can't tell you which one it was because they smell so similar. I expect it's probably more of the original Vibrant Bogoss or Bogoss Vibrant Leather, because that's the one that's definitely been stronger when I've worn it in the past. But I'm going to finish this, go upstairs, and we'll see if either of them smell stronger from the room spray test. To be honest, I don't think either of them are going to smell that strong. If we get any scent, I'd be quite glad, just based on what people have said and my initial feelings so far. Heading up the stairs now. We've had about 11 minutes that have gone by, so we'll see if we can smell either. So we're going to go into the parents' room first. This is where, I tell you what, I can still smell that quite strong. So vibrant leather summer. It's a bit of a tongue twister to keep saying that, but yeah, Bogoss Vibrant Leather Summer. You can definitely smell that in here. Pretty strong, actually, a lot more than I expected. So I'm expecting even more then from the fragrance in my room. Yeah, I can smell it. It's not probably as strong, but I did spray that one first, to be fair. They've done really well, and it kind of ties in what I was just saying, to be honest with you. They kind of those scents that smell really, really strong to start with, like a real initial blast. I reckon in half an hour you won't be able to smell these in my room. But if you've gone in, you've basically sprayed a fragrance in your car, and then you've gone into your office, people are going to notice you. You're going to get those a lot of initial compliments first thing in the morning, whether that's school, work, whatever. And I think it will drop off. But this is really strong. I think it might be too much, as I was kind of saying on my run, as an office scent all the time, just because it is very cloying, very synthetic, really, as well. But it is pleasant. It's a juicy pineapple scent, and that's done well. I'm quite surprised. And I did notice it on my run. So what I'm going to say, because that's better than some I've had before, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 for both. Really surprised me that, particularly the summer one with the aquatic notes, but the pineapple's really kicking through. It'd be interesting. I'm going to spray my arm now, and then obviously do my workout, walk to the gym, do my workout, and then I'll do the shower test, see if I can still smell them. It'd be really interesting to see if that performance drops off later on when I do the longevity score. But yeah, we'll talk about compliment factor on my walk down, and yeah, time to get going. Right, so we'll do 5 on each arm before I go. Okay then, so compliment factor. Now, I'll be honest with you, I've never really had a compliment on this. I've never really chosen to wear it for compliments, actually. But my brother, who's tried as many fragrances as me, who's quite picky on fragrances, I'd say, he actually really likes it, because I tested it on him the other day, and he does mention it a lot when I put it on. He's never bought it personally, but yeah, he does like it. And as I was saying, on Fragrantica it gets over 4 for both, 4.3 and 4.4, which is a fantastic score out of 5. I think the main reason it tends to get marked down again is just that overly sort of strong synthetic sweetness. It's just not that vibe for everyone. But on the whole, it is a mass pleasing scent. And I do think, as I was saying earlier, it's a good thing that it's still being sold, the original Bogoss Vibrant Leather. It shows that Zara clearly sees some value in it. And for that reason, I think you've got to say it is a compliment getter. I need to wear it a little bit more to give it credit. I think, again, would I buy it, or would I recommend it for someone to buy for compliments? I think I would, because it is that mass pleasing fruity scent, and it's not gonna. I don't think it's ever going to be too daring in terms of, it can be a bit cloying, but it's not
it's not something that anyone I think is really going to hate, that's for sure. It's not going to give them a negative impression of you. So yeah, on the whole, because it's quite juvenile, quite playful, I think it will definitely garner confidence, but it's going to be one of them, like I was saying a minute ago, you're going to have to kind of wear early, I think, because it just drops off so quickly. So for that reason, just because I think it will garner confidence, I think it is a mass-pleasing scent on the whole. Let's go 7.5. If I obviously get those confident at the gym today, I'll give it a 10. But it'd be interesting to see just how long it lasts and if anyone does notice it, because the initial impression is it doesn't. But yeah, you never know. I'm still waiting for a compliment at the gym on one of these videos. We will get it at some point. Done. No compliments, but it's now time to do longevity. It's the shower test. Okay, shower done, nearly midday, so it's almost been about 3 hours, just under 3 hours since I applied these fragrances. This is the one I'm interested in, because this is where people online have marked it down that it doesn't last very long. And I can see what they mean, I'll be honest with you. So I reckon they're both still there. Funny enough, Vibrant Never Summer's the one actually I can smell a little bit more. I'd probably say it's about 15%, 10 to 15% of what it is. You'd have to reapply this now, definitely. It's one of those scents that this ain't gonna last. You had a lunch break now, in an hour's time, it'd be gone. So yeah, it is disappointing with that. I think if there's something I might say in defence of it, I think where the scent is so strong to start with, you may almost become a little bit desensitised to it. And I wouldn't be surprised if someone did actually say to you, oh no, I can smell you smell nice still. So someone who maybe didn't get that initial scent from it may not be as, they may still pick up that smell, but I think you just get that such a strong blast initially that maybe you just don't recognise it. But yeah, the performance definitely, or the longevity I should say, is definitely a little bit underwhelming. So all things considered, to be honest, one thing I would also say, again in defence of it, is I don't think I would have wanted it that strong for that long anyway, because it is very synthetic and cloying. Gonna give it 5.5. That's a little bit disappointing, I know, but yeah, it just doesn't have that real kick to it. Again, for some people that might just be enough. I think that's the thing, it's what you want. If it's something that you want to get through for a whole day, it's not going to be. But if it's just something you want to throw on for a few hours, then yeah, that'd be absolutely fine. It will do that job, no problem at all. Probably could have given a lower score, like a 4 or 3, based on the fact I can only smell it about 10 to 15%. But maybe that's what Zara want. Sometimes you've got to consider, what does that brand want? For someone who loves bees for fragrances, okay, yeah, I want a little bit more. But maybe that's not what this scent's meant to be. Maybe it is just one of those scents, and again, it is targeted towards summer, when things aren't as long-lasting. Maybe that's what Zara want, just something that you can throw on for a few hours, not worry, it's pretty safe, it's pretty... it's going to be mass pleasing on the whole. Maybe that is exactly what they wanted. So I think that's the reason why 5.5 is a very fair score. I'm absolutely starving. I cannot wait to get back, add up all the scores, and then I'll give my final thoughts when I get back. Are they worth buying? I'm finally home. I have managed to do 34,700 steps, so quite a lot of steps, all while wearing these two fragrances this morning during my workout. So Bogoss Vibrant Leather and Bogoss Vibrant Leather Summit, its flanker. And the overall score was 35.5, which that's a decent score. That's over 70%. What I would say is it didn't get the really high marks today, so it didn't get anything above 8, but it didn't get anything below 5 or 5.5 essentially. So not bad at all. And that's kind of what I would say this fragrance is. I think this is very much a sort of entry-level beginner fragrance for someone who's a little bit younger, who's getting into fragrances, who's quite a social, outgoing person, wants to go out in the sun with their friends, maybe on their bike or something like that, and you just want to throw something on, and it's very safe, very mass pleasing. It's synthetic, it's cheap, but it does that job. It fits that vibe.
what I'm going to say is, would I recommend this for someone who's maybe a little bit more into their fragrances, maybe collecting fragrances? Probably not. I don't think it's got enough complexity about it. I think it's very youthful, very juvenile, very rough around the edges and synthetic. And I don't know. I think you'd want a little bit more. This just feels like a younger person's scent. And yeah, for if you can get those two for £30, absolutely great. But it leaves me feeling like I want either a bit more performance or a bit more complexity in the scent. It's just very, very much like cutting into a fresh pineapple. If you like that fruity sort of sense, that's absolutely fine. And what I would say is go for it if that's the case. But I know just from my experience of trying loads of fragrances, I tend to spend around £25 on my fragrances. As a general rule of thumb, I prefer some of my Lush sprays and my Bentley sprays. And, I just think they have that extra complexity and versatility that I'd rather use in the summer, but also throughout the year. But yeah, these are not bad fragrances at all. And they do exactly what I think Zara wants them to do. They appeal to the younger masses. And yeah, they're just pleasing. There's nothing wrong with them at all. And that's why this, as I said, has been out since 2021, 2022. And, this is still going a couple of years on since it was released. So they're clearly doing something right. They're still bringing out more Bogoss Vibrant Leather fragrances. So, yeah, very well done, Zara. And that's just my thoughts. Definitely for someone just beginning in fragrances, go for it. Anyone a bit more experienced, I'd probably just steer clear. But, yeah, always go into a Zara shop and try them. That's the best thing I would recommend, because that's where I first tried them and I bought them after that. So you never know. It's just I'm getting old and grumpy, maybe, getting near 30 these days. I've just changed my opinion on scents. But yeah, thank you very much for watching this one today. Hope you've enjoyed it. There'll be more fragrance videos throughout the week as well. So hopefully you'll join me for them as well. Catch you later.